Guys, I want you to remember before we get started that we are sponsored by SeatGeek. Yes, SeatGeek is now officially sponsoring Three Bold Takes. Guys, we are so glad to let you know that with your first purchase with SeatGeek, you get $20 off using our code Three Bold Takes. SeatGeek's perfect for any kind of live events, whether that's sports, entertainment like music, or even like local plays that you would want to go to. I use them for every sporting event I've gone to. I've never been disappointed. They give me great information on the tickets, whether it's a good price or not, before I ever purchase it. It is the only way that I buy tickets. So, guys, remember use SeatGeek. Our code Three Bold Takes, get $20 off your first purchase.
Welcome on in, guys. Man, this one takes the cake. Alabama guys on this podcast here, of course. And so we have to talk the Iron Bowl. We do not walk away from rivalry weekend without talking the Iron Bowl. This was one of my favorites. I've grown up on this game for so long. This is just another fun one this season, and it looks like Auburn is finally hitting a stride here late in the year, going into Tuscaloosa, a 2:30 kick. 11 and a half point favorite is the Crimson Tide. 52 and a half over under for it. Man, Peyton Thorne against Jalen Milroe. Brady, we're going to hit you first, man.
Man, I'm going to be honest. The safe bet in this game is the under, the 52 and a half, I think. Um, After an absolutely abysmal performance by Alabama's offense against Oklahoma, I'm not going to fault the defense too much. They were put in a lot of short field situations, and 7 of those 24 was a pick six. So really, you're looking at maybe 10 points that the defense gave up. Yes, Oklahoma ran it down their throat, but it was almost a bend don't break kind of defense, which it's been like that all year. It seems like if you look at Vandy, you look at Tennessee, they've been able to run the football against Alabama, and I think Auburn's going to try the same thing. Peyton Thorne is not known as a great passer of the football, but I saw him make some plays against Texas A&M over the weekend with his legs that scares me as an Alabama fan and should scare a lot of Alabama fans. He's scrappy. He's probably going to make some mistakes throwing the ball. Um, and those are mistakes that Bama normally capitalizes on. They were unable to do that in the one turnover against Oklahoma. Man, 11 and a half points. Bama's at home. Typically, the team playing at home normally wins this game. It's an incredibly hostile environment no matter where you play. I think it helps Auburn that it's at 2:30 and not at 6:30 tremendously, and it's not a night game. You don't have the all day anticipation waiting for the game, and then obviously what comes with a night game. The environment's crazy, the lights, all that stuff, the entire world watching. This game being at 2:30 feels like it's not prime time anymore, which because it's on ESPN or ABC, it's not technically their prime time. I think Bama wins. But let me tell you, I am not at all confident in saying that. If there's any year that I think Alabama as being, a clear double digit favorite in this game can get beat, I think it's this year. It's DeBoer's first Iron Bowl, right? This is the first time that Bama's lost 3 games in the regular season since 2010. So there's a lot different now than in previous years. So I don't really want to look at previous years and how these 2 games are played, different head coaches, things of that nature. But I think Bama wins a close one. I'm going to go by 2 points. I think Auburn misses a game-winning field goal at the end.
Yeah, going into this, when I was being asked about the Iron Bowl 2 weeks ago, I said there's no shot for Auburn. A below 500 Auburn team coming into Tuscaloosa against an Alabama team that's on the verge of a playoff run. That's never really gone well for Auburn, period. But now you're dealing with an Alabama team that's reeling after an embarrassing 24-3 defeat in Norman, Oklahoma, and an Auburn team that is soaring with a potential ability to win this game and become bowl eligible, which is massive for a team like Auburn, a team full of young starters who could use those extra weeks of practice that they get with bowl season for 2025. It's all kind of lining up. I'm going Auburn to win the Iron Bowl this year. I think we've got an Alabama team that's reeling, that has now lost the season officially. There's probably some weird scenario where they make the playoffs as a 3-loss team, but it's highly unlikely. Um, Meanwhile, you got an Auburn team that's now one win away from bowl eligibility. They had the heartbreaking narrow defeat last year. Now, it will be a huge upset if Auburn gets this done. This Alabama team has not lost a home game all season, and they've played some pretty decent teams at home. Missouri, South Carolina come to mind right off the bat, and Georgia. So yeah, they've played some really good home games this year. Uh, but I don't think that after what I saw on Saturday, and maybe this is a gut reaction to a 1 week thing, and I shouldn't think like this, but I just feel like Hugh Freeze is going to dial up a whole lot of trickeration out of RPOs and triple options and read options to take advantage of a young secondary on the outside, get some guys open in open field, and then just hope Keon Coleman makes some big plays off screen passes and see what happens. And I think at the end of the day, that's going to work out in Auburn's favor. And I like them to beat the Tide by less than a touchdown on the road, getting their first win in Alabama since I believe the Cam Newton comeback in 2010. So that would be a huge thing for them if they do get that done. Chase, what are you thinking?
Quinn, that's actually right. You're right on the head with the Cam Newton win there. And I'll go a step further. If you want to find an unranked Auburn team that beat a ranked Alabama team in Tuscaloosa, let's take it all the way back to 2002 when Auburn did that 17-7 against number 9 Alabama at the time. Look, Quinn's right on the money with this one. Alabama is on the cusp of falling apart. As I mentioned in the offseason, people were expecting Kalen DeBoer to step in and be better than Nick Saban already. There were going to be a lot of bumps along the way. You didn't expect those bumps to also be Vandy and nearly a loss to South Carolina and a couple of these others. You weren't expecting him to beat Georgia off the – that's what you were expecting. Kalen DeBoer is going to lose to Georgia. He's going to lose the big games, but he's going to win everything else. He's going to be good. There's been a lot of bumps here and there. And I get on here and say it every single time we talk Alabama. Kalen DeBoer is playing with toys that are not his. Jalen Milroe does not fit this man's system. Look at the last couple quarterbacks that he's had. At Fresno State, he had Jake Haener, and at Washington, he had Michael Penix. Both of those guys can use their legs. They are pure pocket passers, though. Michael Penix was going to slice you apart for 400 or 500 yards as much as he could from the pocket. He might scramble a little bit, toss it, but he's going to be in the pocket. Jake Haener was the same way. He was a little bit of a smaller frame. Milroe is primarily a dual threat guy. He is a Lamar Jackson type, a Cam Newton type. Hey, let me get out. Let me run a lot. Let me use my legs. That does not fit DeBoer's system. And sad to say, like, it's not about a Ty Simpson's better, Jalen Milroe's better. No, it's just that Jalen Milroe doesn't fit this system. And that's the biggest thing about dual threat quarterbacks that I've talked about since my Ravens drafted Lamar Jackson. If you have a guy like that, you have to build your entire system around him. If you do not, you will be in trouble when it comes to offensive stuff or offensive game plans. The LSU game, he ran for 4 touchdowns. He didn't throw a single touchdown. The Mercer game, whatever, it's Mercer. But then Oklahoma, they took that entire run game away and forced him to win with his arm, and he threw nearly 2 pick sixes and definitely one of them. Oklahoma's not good offensively. Oklahoma scored, 10 points that game, 13 points offensively that game? They're not a good team. Sorry. Anyway, Auburn seems to, though, now be hitting their stride out of freaking nowhere. Hugh Freeze, I thought was going to be really good going into the season. I thought it was going to be an 8-win season for Auburn. And then he just said, hey, you know what? My players suck, and didn't take any accountability until the last, 2 weeks, apparently. And now they just beat Texas A&M in a 4-overtime game. Man, I'm really struggling with this one as well. But I'm going to go with Alabama. I'm going to play it safe. I think at home, the bigger, more talented team should win this game. However, I'm not crossing out what Quinn's saying. If you have a team that is reeling like this in Alabama, first-year head coach Kalen DeBoer, you don't know how serious this rivalry is to you just yet, but the whole South is going to make you feel it if you lose this game to Auburn. We're going to see, but I think Auburn's going to play a lot of voodoo mama juju in this one, and I think they're going to keep it close. Give me 23-20 Alabama in this game for the Iron Bowl to close it out with them. Guys, anything else on the Iron Bowl before we get off of it? Guys, a Saturday 2:30 kick. We hope you have fun watching it. One of the best ones. I think easily a top 2 rivalry game weekend. this year. We're super excited for 3 bold takes. It's been Quinn, it's been Chase, it's been Freddie.